you guys' adventures. Zach, drug John out to the wilds of Wulong Fallen Dynasty. How's it going?
Okay,
I want to start off that this game's character creation lets you create some monsters.
You get to be a weirdo if you want to.
Okay, I'm already in.
Our characters are not okay.
They're not okay. Oh no.
I'm a decrepit 90-year-old man with gray twin tails.
That's the best. I don't.
He's the rejected Japanese member of KISS.
Basically, yeah. For some reason, I've got an eye patch as well. They let you go nuts with like face paints, and if my armor was off too, my entire body is covered in tattoos.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like it lets you, it's a real in-depth character creation. It's one of those where I'm pretty sure you could do rendering face remodels of like other game characters and possibly some celebrities. Yeah, because it's a fairly in-depth one.
Right. Yeah, because you can like 4 different features of the face and everything, body types and everything. You can create, or you can select like the base shape of it, but then you can go in and modify it like crazy.
Yeah. All right, so deep character creator. I'm already in. Like that. Like to hear that. I love a deep character creator.
Okay, I want to start off with something. Okay. So we started playing somewhere around
about 6:30.
6:30.
Okay. You
have to beat the tutorial, like the tutorial mission where it teaches you how to play the game. You have to beat that before, which ends in a boss fight, before you can go into co-op. What time do you think we started playing co-op?
I'm gonna guess 9 o'clock.
About 9 o'clock.
Oh, all right.
It took me 45 minutes.
It took me 2.5 hours.
Oh no!
Because there was a moment where I was ahead of John, and I went, "Oh, all right, cool. I beat the boss." Then it does a cutscene, and I went, "Oh shit, there's a phase 2."
There's a point where he's talking about phase 2, and he's like, "Oh, the best I've done is like a quarter of phase 2," and I'm over here like, "Oh, dude, I've done better than that." I never got to phase 2 by that point. I was like an hour in.
But yeah, by the time
you poor guy.
By the time I got to the first level, I was missing the first level. I heard you go. It's like, "Oh, I beat him. What the fuck's happening? Oh shit, I never reached phase 2."
I went, man, he got big as fuck.
Another hour and a half later,
it did culminate in
it was a great sort of ending moment.
Okay, not like the accomplishment of I beat the boss. But Zach he'd moved on and kind of been going throughout the first level, exploring in that.
Right.
And he heard me like starting to curse, and he's like, "Oh, did you die again?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Did you go back in there already?" And I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Okay, well, next time you die, don't jump back in there.
I want to try something.
I want to try something." And then it's just silence. And like a couple minutes later, he's like trying to ask me questions. He's like, "John, are you alive? Are you dead?" And then like I just erupt. I'm like, as if you thought I wasn't gonna beat him on this attempt, you faith having bitch. And like the cleanest run I've had the entire time. I basically hit the first phase, barely got hit in the second phase, and just ran over it like it was nothing.
Right.
That's by far the hardest part of that game for me.
Okay, so literally the hardest part for you has just been the tutorial.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay. It is way harder.
You solely have to, the first time, as far as I'm aware, have to do it solo. Because as far as I could tell, there was no way to bring another player into it. But after that, I jumped into his game and went co-op, and it was so much easier.
Well, so just playing the game solo is just difficult, is the bottom line.
Just because it's like a Dark Souls game.
Yeah.
Also, like the boss. I mean, if you're someone who plays these type of games, you won't spend as much time on it as I did.
Yeah, it's also an important thing to know for the listeners. Not Souls players here, so let's make that known now.
I fucking hate this type of game. Normally, I stay away from it, and I have no want to play it. When the demo came out, I played it for like an hour and was pissed the whole time.
The only reason I have any interest in it because it was Omega Force and Team Ninja working on it, and this aesthetic and style of it. Because I have no interest in the regular Souls games.
Right, yeah, true.
But yeah, it's like, for someone who's played these type of games before, it won't, doing a dodge away from something is basically fucking worthless.
It really
is. Because it's like they have they call it like a deflecting. It's basically parrying their attacks. It's like that's how you actually
Get
out of
anything done.
Get anything done. You have to parry the attack, and then you get a second to attack them back, or something before they can react.
And maybe before you get down their attack patterns, you'll use the guard button, which I didn't find out there was a fucking guard until a tooltip appeared during one of the menus while I was respawning.
Yeah, never helped me.
The tutorial doesn't tell you how to guard for a fucking second.
No, I didn't.
They're not holding your hand.
The guard didn't help me at all either. But yeah, the boss fight. It was so troublesome for me because, one, I don't play these types of games.
Right.
Two, I'm bad at when I'm playing games like this, like any sort of action combat. I kind of get into a button mashing phase.
Okay, that's fair.
Which
Me
is
too.
horrible. You cannot button mash. You button mash, you die.
Yeah.
I said that a few times to Zach,
Yes.
because anytime I found myself button mashing again, I just repeat. I was like, button mash, die.
A lot of times I just heard John say, just fucking kill me. Just end me.
It was like I would start it out, and if I took enough damage to where I felt like I needed a heal in the first phase, I'd just sit there, I'd stop moving, I'd go run it back.
Yeah.
Damn.
But it's like the first boss in the tutorial, or like the ending boss of the tutorial, is designed to teach you like the parrying and how the game mechanics work. Unfortunately, it is not easy for me.
Yeah, if you're not a regular Souls player, it will definitely punish you. Because even there was a moment for me where I was just like playing through it, and I died a couple times, as I said. To finish that first level, it did take me about 45 minutes from start opening cutscene to ending cutscene of the beating the first boss. There was a moment where I was like, for people who are like casuals or not used to Souls games, I could very much see them getting to this point, and that's just their entire game experience. They're done here.
If you weren't waiting to play with me, I would not have beat it.
I
He
sort
would
of
have gave
figured.
up. Yeah, he would have gave up.
If it was me, like if we would have said, "Oh yeah, we'll beat this," and then like we'll just join up afterwards, I wouldn't have played with you.
Yeah.
Just the fact that
It just
he's
would've
sitting there
happened.
in the call with me, just like waiting on me to beat it so we can start the co-op adventure. I'm like, all right, buckle down. Get it done.
So it continues
my
the
big boy
it
pants
continues the trend of me. I'm just dragging John along.
Yeah, literally just grabbed him by the ankles and just like, come on, you're going, bud.
But
When you do beat the tutorial boss, you kind of just get launched straight into the game.
yeah,
And you immediately get to a battle flag, which is kind of like your checkpoint markers throughout levels, kind of.
yeah, it has a whole thing. So, just slightly backtracking and just the main like sort of setting and whatnot. It's taking place during the Three Kingdoms era in China. You're just some nameless soldier during the Yellow Turban Rebellion era, and it's just an initial cutscene in the first person of you fighting some Yellow Turbans trying to help a village that's being attacked. You save some blindfolded boy and get stabbed in the process, and you come back to with some jade amulet or something on around your neck now, and the boy has some weird magic that has rezzed you and saying that you need to survive. And then it's your adventure with this blindfolded boy through the village, learning the initial basic mechanics of the game, fighting, weapons, deflecting, vulnerability attacks, or fatal strikes is what they're called. Accumulation to the boss fight, which leads to you fighting one of the Yellow Turban leaders, you beating him once, then he consuming some energy it doesn't really explain at all, and him growing a fucking demonic arm.
I don't know exactly what he did. I'm not gonna lie. The first few cutscenes, I just kind of skipped over.
Yeah. He grows a demonic arm. You eventually beat him, and you summon some spiritual dragon that swallows him and ends his ass. And then some black Taoist dude shows up, kills the blindfolded boy, turns the dragon, and then knocks your ass off a cliff.
Oh, see, I didn't watch that. I didn't know that happened.
Oh, you just skipped it?
I was just happy I beat him.
That was it for him. He was good.
I was happy
he
I
was
beat
done.
him. I was ready to move on from there.
Here's also the fun thing that was the difference between John and mine experience. I apparently found a cheat way to end the boss fight early.
Well, no, it's the intended way to do it.
Is it?
But I didn't get a pop-up for it because... Okay, yeah.
So
Go ahead.
So while you're fighting one, as you're doing damage and getting deflects and whatnot, a Spirit Beast gauge will build up. Once it builds up, you can activate it and it summons a Spirit Beast and it does a special attack animation based on specific beast, or you can use a buff with it instead and for you and your allies. But it pops up once it charges to hit YB, which does the attack, and it immediately cuts into a cutscene ending the fight. Unfortunately, if you don't get that built up, you have to do the whole fight.
Well, no, it's not even that because
Really?
anytime you enemies have like critical attacks where they like start this charge, like they go for this big wind up, they get this glowing red around them to signify that it's a critical attack. You want to parry that because then you can do a counterattack from it, and it builds your spirit gauge way faster. Like you get a lot more of it. But the weird thing that happened was my game was being a little weird because when I was doing the fatal blows in phase 1 of the boss fight, half the time I wasn't getting the animation of actually going like
Stabbing him?
stabbing him, and that the damage would happen and the fight would just continue.
That is weird.
That was happening quite a bit. I don't know if they just didn't intend someone to be there that long, and it started breaking down. But yeah, typically because if you're getting the parries on the critical attacks and that in phase 2 of the boss fight, you only have to do 3 of them to fill your spirit gauge. I never got the pop up in phase 2. I didn't know that was a thing until Zach reiterated it to me because I never had a pop up or anything telling me to do it. So I fought him just straight up in phase 2 and got him to like a fraction of his health bar and died. When at any point in time I could have hit those buttons, but I didn't know that was a thing.
I'm gonna be fair. It isn't very obvious because I barely noticed it because like it pops up when you first get the charge and like the the left side of your screen like very small tooltip box. It doesn't bring it to your attention or anything. So if you're in the middle of combat focus, you can very easily miss it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like so I never saw that. So I could have escaped that hell an hour earlier. But I didn't realize that was a thing, and then proceeded to beat my head against the wall for another hour before I got it down.
Beat his head against a big, muscly, demonic man.
By the time I got it down, though, I was speed running phase 1.
Hey, it ended with him pulling off a damn near perfect run, though.
Yeah. It's like it's like my final run barely got hit. It was the fastest and the easiest run that I had. So I mean, eventually you get the mechanics down. It just takes a while.
Then led to our wondrous adventure through the mountains.
Yeah, how is the co-op? How are you guys enjoying that?
I will say there's one fucking awesome feature in this game, and it's purple flags where people are getting their ass kicked.
Yes.
Wait, what?
There's purple
so
flags.
You know how in Souls games that where people die, it leaves like blood splatters or whatnot?
Yeah.
And people. So this game's version is purple sort of ghostly flags, and it gives a person's username and what killed them.
Oh, no.
So you can always know when something fucked people up because you'll enter an error and there's just a row of fucking flags and you're just like, well, shit.
Oh, no.
And the worst part about it is for each flag, because there's a morale system, which the higher morale, the stronger your attacks and whatnot. So if you have even morale with enemies, it's an even fight. If you have more than them, you do more damage. And if you have less of them, they do more damage to you and you do less damage to them. For each one of those flags associated with an enemy character, that enemy character's morale has been raised by 1 level.
Yeah. And if you can either kind of just go and fight the enemy, like just walk up, fight them, and if you manage to kill them, you get a revenge for that player, and then you get you get more loot in that. Or you could offer one of your health potions to the flag,
which raises your morale right that moment.
Yeah. So it's like you can go into it more of like on
even
a more
terms.
even fight, or you can just kind of go into
Hold
it
on,
and say, fuck it.
hold on. Is offering the health potion to the flag to boost your, is that basically pouring one out for the dead homies?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what it is.
That's amazing. I love that.
Because there was a moment where during the first level towards the end, we got to a bunch of purple flags and went, so John, we can either go to the left and we can go fight the two schmucks hiding behind a pillar who murdered a bunch of people.
I don't know. I don't know how people died to them because
I don't
there's
know
an
either.
archer up top who I went for first, and you look down and they're right there.
I don't get it either. Or we can go to the right where the giant demonic commander fucked up a lot more people.
I didn't realize how big he was gonna be when I went to the right.
John chose the right. I went, all right, we've signed our death warrants.
Hey, we didn't die.
To be fair, we didn't die, but it was a hell of a fight.
We just, I mean, there was a lot of platforms and stuff to jump on to just fuck with them.
But it is very much a more definitely easier probably on co-op just because somebody can pick you up if you do go down. And there is also that fact of you got backup. So if something suddenly fucking can go up, your buddy can run up and fuck them up.
There was, because we were both kind of running around exploring the area a bit.
And yeah, there
Zach-
is no limit to distance. You can literally be on opposite ends of the map of each
And
other.
like I'm running off one direction, and Zach's gone back to run through this town, but we had activated a flag, so all the enemies respawned. And he forgot that, and I just hear him go, "Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm in trouble."
I made mistakes
And
because
I come, and then I come trying to figure out where he is, and then I round a corner, and there's just like fucking 10 enemies running in a line after him, and I'm just like, well, they're not looking at me, so this is easy.
And then I got the old John tradition of where I'm doing something, and I just look at my HUD, and I see John's life bar go from full to empty, and I go, did you walk off a cliff?
John, did
The
you walk
only
off a
thing
cliff?
that has killed me more than the tutorial boss is gravity.
Yep. Because he responded with, nothing happened. And I go to pick his ass up, and I walk over there, and he's back, and he's just walking by. I was like, what happened? He's like, nothing happened. I walk away, like, not even a fucking minute later. I see his life bar dip
It was
again.
a different spot, too. That's the worst part.
And I went, John!
It happened 4 times. 4 times in like a 10-foot. Like I walked maybe 10 feet away.
It was all in the same zone.
Like it was bad.
Gravity always wins.
There wasn't even an enemy. He literally walked off.
No, I jumped off because I was trying to jump around corners of stuff to make it faster, and it was much slower.
The interesting thing is, though, versus other Souls type games, even if you have a co-op ally, you can still actually have one AI join you. And we used him as a meat shield so much.
Man, we let Guan Yu get his ass kicked.
Guan Yu and Zhou Yun.
Yeah. But yeah, it is kind of funny still because like you go into some of these boss fights and you basically get locked into a little arena
Yeah.
because it's not like walking through mist or anything. You walk up and there's a locked door or a shut door, and it's like, I guess we're going through the doorway.
So far, it's either a locked door or it's just a cliff that ends into a drop, and we just look around and go,
It's like
this looks like a boss area.
you just walk up to it. It's like it goes down about 15 feet, and you look around and you go, so what do you think's gonna be in there?
Like it's a great setup to train your players. Like, oh yeah, there's probably a boss or something behind that.
Yeah.
Because there was a moment in the second level, which is the demo level, which had a great start because it does the whole cutscene thing. We go around. John's looking through his menu. I go to the first flag, and I go. Oh, John, look, it's the tutorial level. It's the demo level. He's like, I gotta go. I'm done. I'm out.
I'm not going back. I'm not going
almost
back.
left. Fuck, that level kicked the shit out of me in the demo.
And then, there's been some great moments of it just co-op. Because co-op, I gotta say, Wulong, if you're a Souls player, you'll probably like it. It's a great solo experience, probably. It's so much better co-op.
I will say there is some great. I love the purple flags because you walk up to it because I think it was the second level. The first time we encountered one of the cats.
No, fucking the bird.
No. I'm talking about the first time we encountered a cat because we walked up and there's
yeah.
a purple.
You're right.
There's a row of purple flags, and I walk up and I read it because it tells you what killed them. And I read it. I don't remember what the name was. I go, He's like, what do you think this is? And he just kind of sitting there and goes, I don't know. And then it's like I panned my camera slightly and went, oh, it's probably that thing.
And the best part about it, we still weren't even near it where to fight it. So we were like, okay, it's over there. We'll deal with it when we deal to it. We get to a flag, because there's two different types of flag. There's a marching flag, which is a small one that's just a checkpoint to heal yourself. And by getting the flags, it increases your max morale. So once you get a flags, you can't go underneath that morale number if you die.
Yeah, because it calls it like resilience. But
Yeah.
as you get flags, it'll be like resilience 15. That means your morale can't drop below that value.
Yeah. So there's marching flags, which are small ones. Then there's the
Battle flag.
battle flags, which are the big ones, which lets you heal up, get you all your healing items back. It also resets the level. We had just gotten one that, and we were messing with menu stuff. And I like this game because a menu, it doesn't pause. The game is still going. The world is still going on around you while you're in your menus. And I'm in this, John's in his menu, and he's looking at it because it shows you what I just see in the corner of where I can see through my menu going, oh shit! The cat had climbed up the hill and started attacking John. We both had to get out of menus very quickly.
There was a moment, man. I was starting to lose it towards the end of our session.
Yeah.
Where we walk up onto this little area and there's like this little pedestal and I see like a glowing red thing there and I'm like, I just walk up and I'm like, battle flag, because I've just been saying that every time we see one.
It wasn't a battle flag.
And I'm like, I'm hitting the button to try to place the flag. And I go, oh, it's a warlock.
It's just some guy chilling with a staff.
Oh, just so that is okay. I just like immediately afterwards I went, Zach, don't say anything. I'm tired.
But I mean, overall, it is a Souls-like game with that sort of Chinese aesthetic. It sort of does have that Omega Force known sort of action adventure Dynasty Warrior style of just freedom of movement. There is differences in weapon types of just speeds and things like that.
Yeah,
There's a large array of weapons too.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
And
good.
then
That's good.
the different types of weapons. So there's 5 different types of magic that you can use as well.
Virtues.
It's the 5 virtues of it, and each virtue or each weapon is tied to different virtues.
So they have increased power based
Yeah.
on that, in which you acquire key, which is this game's version of Souls, to invest in the different virtues to level you up. And you got wood, which increases your life and spirit in one of your defenses.
Makes
I can't remember
sense.
once. Fire, which focuses on attack and deflection, actually, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's deflection.
Earth, which I'm focusing in, which just makes me a bulky boy and gives me defense and increase to weight capacity, so I can carry heavier armors. Metal, which I haven't messed with metal, so I'm not sure what it's actually buffing, but I know it allows for a lot of debuff and curse magic. And then water, which focuses more on making you stealthy.
Yeah, which I'm mostly down wood right now. Just getting more health in that. I'm probably gonna go into wood some, or not wood. Was it earth?
Earth
for the mainly the weight capacity. And then and then probably metal for the debuffs and stuff like that.
See, I'm like deep in earth. I'm like at like 13 earth.
Oh, I'm 15 wood.
Yeah. I've gone into earth, a bit of wood is my secondary, and then a little bit into water.
Okay.
Yeah. Right now I'm wood. I'm probably gonna go more of debuff, and then just kind of focus on having some buffs for us and debuffs for bosses.
And as far as I can tell, there's no way to reset. So once you're committed, you're committed.
Oh, you're locked in then. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Boss fights are entertaining when there's 3 people in the arena, counting our AI companion,
Yes.
because
The bosses
when
like to change targets a lot.
when they do their critical attacks, a lot of times it ends up being some charge at you,
Yes.
and they'll start the animation of like, I'm going for the charge, and then they may change their mind on who they're attacking.
We also discovered that if you're good enough, you can you can usually tell who they're going after. But if you're good enough, you can jump in your buddy's way and deflect the attack for them.
Yeah. You don't have to be the target of the attack to deflect it.
You just have to be in the way of it.
Oh, okay.
I know there were a couple times where I think you were running away trying to heal up, and I just happened to run in front. I'm like, oh, hello.
Yeah, because so far we fought together. We fought a demonic monkey, a demonic boar, and then one of the other yellow turban leaders, Zheng Bao, who he was a giant cuck because he's just using magic, teleporting everywhere, and just making it a bullet hell. Because he's just summoning flames, everything. And which in that fight, I discovered you can deflect everything. Because I'm in the middle of that fight just deflecting flames he's throwing at the ground, which makes no sense.
And then it wasn't like an end of the zone boss or anything, but we did fight what I could only refer to as a lightning chicken or a lightning bird.
Yeah, no, this fucking thing. It's in the middle of the second level in the mountains.
It didn't spawn until we stood on its platform.
And the worst thing is, because every level you start at 0 morale and you have to raise it going through the level, this thing's in the middle level and it's morale 19.
And I think we had like 11 when we showed up the first time.
So this thing fucks our AI companion up. We're in the middle of fighting and healing, and John just goes like, I mean, we can always just fuck off. And I was like, sounds like a good idea. We run.
I picked a direction and started running, and I run into one of the big generals who's also been fucking everyone up.
He's running forward. I'm looking behind you. The lightning chicken is chasing us, and we run into a bunch of other enemies that are around our morale level, and then one that's above us. So now we got a lightning chicken behind us, a bunch of fucking demonic soldiers surrounding us, and we're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, at that point, I was like, Zach, you're on your own. I'm getting out of here.
We pieced out and got away, but goddamn.
We came back for our revenge on the lightning bird.
Eventually, yeah.
So the lightning bird, you fought the pig and the monkey. Those are all boss fights, right?
Nope.
Okay.
The lightning chicken was not a boss.
Yeah, it was not a boss. It was just a big ass enemy
Gotcha.
on the level.
Because I don't know. You said those three, and then my brain immediately went to: is this game going to have like a boss for each of the 12 Chinese zodiac animals?
Quite possibly.
Because like that was the vibe that I was getting as you were saying that.
It's not an actual chicken. We just referenced it. As
Okay.
I just kept. It was some big demonic looking bird with lightning.
Gotcha.
And I could only refer to it as like lightning bird or lightning chicken.
Okay.
But based on the aesthetic of the game, I would not be surprised if we fight a demonic of
Because
each of the zodiac animals.
the boar and the monkey, those were actual bosses.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So yeah. It wouldn't shock me either if 10 more bosses you face is going to be each one of the animals.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I think we died on the monkey more than anything else.
That sounds about right.
Because even like the general of the
Zhang
third,
Bao, yeah.
that one, I think that was like third try for us.
Yeah, it was third or fourth. And then the boar, we just soloed that one first try. Because we were at that point, we were joking. We were just like, first try. Then we actually did it first try.
It's like we went into it. We're like, oh, I guess this is gonna be really easy in co-op, and then the next level kind of kicked the shit out of us.
Just a little.
What's the average amount of tries for a boss for you guys right now?
About 4 or 5.
And also for a try, does that mean both of you get wiped or just
Yes.
one of
Yes.
Okay.
If one of you,
you
if
can
one of
revive
you,
from the other, right?
well, they go down, but then they have a countdown. If one of us, or either of us, if that countdown runs out, it's a wipe.
Okay.
Yeah. So if one of your actual players goes down, you have to res them. Because if that depletes, it just be like, all right, you've lost, and kills the other person.
Oh, okay. Got it.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, the first level, I mean, we first tried. The second level, like the boss, the end of it took us like maybe 4 or 5 tries.
Yeah, it wasn't terribly long.
And then the third one was 3 or less.
Yeah.
I think.
Because, yeah, the last one, it was just annoying because he was teleporting everywhere.
Yeah, it's like he was teleporting around everywhere. I was mostly making Zach do the work on that one because I was kind of feeling like shit by the end of it.
It wasn't until like our second to last run that I realized the boss spawns ads. After a point, I went, oh, it's spawning ads. And Don's just like, oh, yeah, I've been dealing with that. Because I had not noticed them at any point before this.
It's like he was just like full charging, full sending the boss. And I was over there going, why are there warlocks over here?
I had no clue.
So obviously you guys haven't done it yet. I wouldn't say, but how would it be adding in a third player? Let's say if I actually play with you guys, how would that be in terms of like leveling and stuff like that?
I mean, it wouldn't be bad because I mean, I was
More people,
Or-
make,
or, like,
more people
also-
make easier.
or also like let's say boss fights you guys has beat and I haven't. Do they just respawn or for you guys, or how does that stuff like that work?
So I don't know for sure because I'm not of skipping and whatnot.
Yeah.
But since I had joined John's game, I got credit for all the levels we completed.
Oh,
But
okay.
once he ended the session, it booted me out and sent me back to the last point of the game.
Where you were.
I was by myself, but after I beat that, which was the
okay.
boar. But after I beat the boar, it immediately sent me back to where John and me had ended.
Yeah.
It's completely skipping an entire level.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
like, if you were to join and like we joined your game, we would just be we'd be progressing the whole time with you.
Okay, in my story.
Yes.
Essentially.
And
Got it.
anything we hadn't completed, we'd still get credit for.
Okay, I got you. What are you guys playing on, PC or your Series S's?
Series.
Okay, cool. Did you get an X recently? I think you told me.
I mentioned it, but I haven't.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Okay.
I mean, overall, the game has been enjoyable. I think John's had a lot more fun with it than he initially thought, just because of the co-op.
It sounds like it.
I
John
would-
sounds a lot more positive right now than I thought he was going to sound.
I went into it. Okay, this is one thing I told Zach before we actually started playing.
Yeah.
I said, man, this year's been kind of a dud for me because all the games I've been excited for, I've not been impressed with.
Right.
And meanwhile, this is the game I'm the least looking forward to, so it has the lowest expectations.
That's fair.
And to be fair, I am enjoying this game way more than I enjoyed some of the other games that I've played this year. Because I mean, hell, pretty much all the games that have come out this year, besides like
Birth.
Dark and Darker and Birth, that I've played this year, I haven't really enjoyed. Like for Spoken, I've enjoyed what I've played, but I've dropped it because that I'm not interested in that type of game right now.
But
like
you will
the
be
open
later.
world.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy. I mean,
It's Hogwarts Legacy currently.
Yeah.
let's say it's basically the same game as Forspoken with Hogwarts.
Yeah, I'm in and out of Hogwarts Legacy right now.
It's the same game design.
Like for Hogwarts Legacy.
Well,
right
if you
now,
ever
for-
want to send John out to Bird again,
Yeah.
I
yeah.
mean, to be fair, it really is the same game design. You
know what?
Your basic attack.
I'm gonna send you out to Barry. That's a good point. That's gonna be a good TikTok.
They're
I'm sorry, John.
They are both story-driven open world games. They both have different types of spells and attacks to go with. The basic cast of the spell is a 4-attack combo finishing with
Yeah.
a final hit. And the only difference is in Forspoken you have a rotating wheel that you select from. And they both have very underwhelming open worlds. The stories are different, and granted, the one in Hogwarts Legacy has been more interesting so far.
right.
But overall, they're very similar games. It's the power of having an IP that people like versus a new IP.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, he is right.
Like,
Yeah, he is actually spitting facts right now, up front.
If Hogwarts Legacy came out and was a new IP and not based on the Harry Potter world, it would not have gained anywhere near the traction that it did. Because otherwise, it's a mediocre game.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like my biggest thing that I complimented that game about is that the world did feel magical. I felt like I was in the Harry Potter world, but then after that, there was a lot of things left to be desired. And I think
That's the thing. It's like the initial feeling of it kind of carries you on, but
Yeah.
then from there, if you don't like, if you like exploring the open world, it's not like you can fly around and do it, but everything's kind of the same thing over and over again.
And I will say, like, in terms of being the same thing over and over again, I have definitely felt like it's almost a chore to play. Like, it's the only game still I've been trying to get on. I've been trying to get on and play. And, like, I feel like I won't even play, like, 40 minutes. And I'm like, all right, saving off. Like, I'll get on. I'll go do a couple of things, you know, like maybe do
I've
a
been waiting
quest.
for you to come back to make this point. by the way. I thought of this weeks ago.
yes.
Yeah, dude, I'm like 40 minutes and I'm off the game. I'm only got 13 hours in the game.
Oof.
It's like, yeah,
It feels like a chore at times, man.
yeah. It's like some people can look past the flaws in it because they like
The
or
world,
like they
and
like the
IP
world so
and
much
yeah.
and the IP and that. Me, it's like I it's like I play enough of these kind of generic open world games to where I
Right.
can recognize, yeah, the IP is cool, but everything else is kind of whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it's not a bad game,
yeah.
but
No, I
it's
mean, like I
not
said,
like it's not goated.
It's not like the best game of the
Yeah,
year or
yeah.
anything like that.
It'll probably be in the nominees.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's highly successful. But I would say that's largely carried by the fact that it's based off Hogwarts.
Correct. I agree 100%.
But yeah,
At this point, like I may not pick it back up for a little while because like I feel like recently I have been forcing myself.
well,
to
that's
sit
the
down
thing.
and play.
I set it down the same way I set for Spoken. I put them down at almost the exact
You
time,
did, yeah.
like almost the exact hour point. That's what made me realize I'm like they're the same gameplay structure, like in general. But yeah, and then we have Wolong that comes out, the game I've least been looking forward to playing, and honestly, but probably enjoyed more than both of those.
Oh wow.
I got shafted by One and Dead, but I got John Wulong.
I will say there is something funny about seeing a bunch of purple flags and an enemy like 5 or 6 morale levels higher than me, and me just chucking a little throwing knife at his head.
Yeah, no, that's something dumb John and me have started doing. We'll just be hanging out in a corner. We'll see a bunch of flags. We'll look around and go, oh yeah, there's that. Then one of us, you'll just see a kunai go. And
You'll either see a kunai go, or you'll just see him like pull out a crossbow and crouch down, and it's like, I guess we're gonna take some pot shots before we do this. But yeah, it's actually way more fun than I expected it to be. I'm still not. I'm like the big boss fights and that. I'm still fucking horrible at. Zach has to spend Zach will be fighting the boss, and I'm sitting over there, been nowhere near it for the majority of the time. It comes after me once, and I'm just sitting there. I need to pick up.
yeah, and like these bosses are brutal because
I don't know if you guys want me to play with you. I'll be real with you.
I
I appreciate the invite, but
we
I'm
really
warning
don't
you.
care. I mean, join us, but it's not going to change anything
I mean,
because
to be fair, it's like
I'm gonna make you look like a god at this game.
because those critical attacks. Oh shit! If he's that bad,
hey.
I appreciate the invite, but I don't think you want me there.
Hey, just start by seeing if you can beat the tutorial boss in less than 2.5 hours.
All right, I'll set a timer. I'll let you know.
Because the critical attacks, because he's deep into the wood, which gives health. The critical attacks, the boss will still, unless he's at full health, will one shot him.
Wow.
It's not even just that, because when I do decide to go in, I'm very aggro in these games, or like in any game. So like when I do go in, I'm going in for my full combo. And I try to do that, and then I'm just in there attacking them and constantly like just trading blows with them, taking chip damage, and then I get hit by their critical attack. And I'm like, well, yo, Zach, come pick me up.
The worst part about it is when you try and need to pick one of them up, and the boss is like, all right, you're now my target. And you're like, it's like, I don't need this. I need to pick him up before he dies. Fuck off.
First time we wiped because I didn't get picked up was like I was down, and I'm like, Zach, I need to pick up. And he comes walking over to me, but he still had his targeting system on the boss. So
It's very obvious,
it's
too.
auto targeting to him because he walks over to me and he's just like backing up in my general direction. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there and my bar goes away. I went, hey, Zach, how about next time you turn the auto targeting off?
I completely forgot it was on because I just naturally hit it when a boss fight starts and just
Right.
leave it.
But yeah, I mean,
I'm looking forward to hearing
It
more
is-
about your adventures.
the game is like the boss fights are still challenging. The random enemies can still very much fuck you up.
Yes.
If
Because
there was
the-
one
'cause
period
the creators were not shy about having the enemies hide behind corners to stab you in the side or the ass.
well, also there was a point where like it was when we were going to fight the monkey boss, we kept charging up the cliff right there.
Yeah.
And there's 3 or 4 enemies that spawn down there.
Yeah.
And just for fun, we would like kill them before we went up there most of the time. I missed my attack one time on the guy I normally hit, and I went into the boss fight with like a quarter health because I missed the hit, which would have led into me comboing all of them, and suddenly I'm the one getting comboed. But yeah, I mean it is still very brutal.
Yeah. And overall, just better than you expected. If you guys had to put a rating on it right now, what would you give it? I mean, obviously, it's still early impressions, but we do that around here.
Like, I'm having fun because I'm playing co-op. I'll put it that way.
Okay, that's fair.
Me personally, I would probably stick to what the scores are and probably give it about an 8.
Yeah, it's actually been scored pretty well. You know, like 8s and 9s and even a couple 10 out of 10s across the board. It's been scored pretty well.
It's like, this is very much a game that I would not play this solo.
Yeah.
The fact that we're playing co-op is what's making the game enjoyable. Because
Gotcha.
even when I'm going down, it's like I still have Zach over there who can come pick me up and we can continue on. Or the same vice versa for him if he gets caught in a bad combo and gets hit.
Those damn cats.
I can still run over and pick him up, and then we can just continue on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll download it later. If I've got time later tonight, I may hop in the tutorial and see how it goes.
Yeah. Just go check out the, the boss.
You've made me immensely curious right now, just on the tutorial alone. Like I feel like I need to see it for myself.
I mean, that entire first opening level, all the enemies are very easy. There's none elite. It's just a big lead up to go. Yeah, now here's a boss with 2 phase. Because we've yet to have another boss with 2 phases.
Okay. Yeah. It really just throws some hard shit at you out.
Well, yeah, especially because, like you said, the enemies that it has leading up to it, it's basically they put enemies there to teach you how to attack.
Right.
They don't do anything to you. They don't really swing at you. It felt like because you can just kill them real quick.
Yeah.
Then you get to a boss fight and you're like, oh, I guess it's time to fucking die 1,000 times.
I'll do a death counter and I'll time it, see how long it takes me. And if I've got time tomorrow, I may join in with you guys because I do have to do a lot of video editing.
Alex,
tomorrow.
it got to a point where I was tilted to the point where I'd walk in, and if I got hit within the first 5 seconds, I stood there and let him kill me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll keep that in mind. Whenever we get finished with the podcast, I'm gonna start running there, and I'll start.
And just for fair warning on that first boss, his first phase is nothing compared to his second phase. It's an entire different enemy.
Okay.
Second phase is easy as fuck. I don't know why you had such a hard time with it. Your challenge was the second phase.
Yeah.
It took me 2 hours to get used to the first phase, and then I was able to take it down. I got to the second phase less than 10 times.
My adjustment period was just the range difference, to be honest.
Yeah. Oh, I had that down. Because his attacks in the second phase were slightly slower than the first phase, and I had spent so much time in the first phase. I had the parry down only on that enemy. I can't parry shit outside of him, but I can parry him like crazy now.
Okay. Like I said, once we're finished up here, I'll go in and I'll start downloading it, and I may check it out later tonight, or at least in the morning before maybe I start doing some editing. I got a lot of editing to do tomorrow, so I'll see if I've got time to hit you boys up. Looking forward to hearing more about your adventures, though. I've enjoyed this conversation immensely, honestly. I got a lot of good TikToks out of this past 50 minutes of conversation.
It was also funny because Zach is probably was expecting we're gonna go and play it one time and then John's done with it.
Was that your expectation?
Yeah, but by the end of it, I was like, I might be able to get him to play more.
It's like, and then we're going because, like I said, I was feeling like shit. I had a migraine yesterday, and I'm sitting there like 15 minutes before we kind of got to the boss. I'm just sitting there and I feel like shit. I'm just quiet, and in my head, I'm like, man, I want to go to bed, but we're beating this damn level.
And as he said towards the beginning of this episode, it's like the levels are actually very large.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a decent amount to run around because it's like you can take a beeline straight to the boss fight if you want to, but if you go around and actually explore all the different areas and get all the different flags and everything, there's a large area to go through and there's a lot more 3D verticality than I expected.
Yeah, because there was a point during the second level during the mountain where I don't know what the hell I did, but I accidentally fell off a cliff. But instead of falling on my death, I fell to a lower level. I went shit. Then I went, oh, I'm not dead. And I was like, but I have no idea where I am.
I didn't know where he was. I'm like, did you fall? He goes, yeah, I landed somewhere. And then I continue on the path and kind of go we'll meet up at some point probably.
Yeah,
In a few
we'll
minutes,
cross paths again.
A few minutes later, I round the corner and he's just in a room with like enemies chasing after him, and I come charging. I'm like, "Hello."
Yeah, he ignores the enemy and gets the chest. By the way,
Naturally, that's what I would have done, honestly.
I mean, he's in there fighting it. I just walk in the room and go, "Hello, hey, there's a chest."
All right, let's go ahead and move on. We're about 55 minutes into the show. So
Woo!
yeah. I mean, hey, it's a great conversation. I got a lot of good content out of it, so that's what I'm looking forward to.